Now, this is different because money, if I'm sick and you tell me, hey, I'm going to give you $1 million, yeah, that's great. But what the fuck do I do with $1 million if I'm dying? That's not what it's going to help me. Now, if you tell me, hey, I came out with this vaccine that I'm going to inject you, tomorrow, and you're going to be super healthy, that fucking helps. Then you can give me the $1 million and I'm going to live like a champ. But in the meantime, I just need to get well. And that's what's happening right now, that we don't have an economy that is healthy because people are not healthy and people are not spending. People are scared. People are in their homes. They don't know what the fuck to do.
My point is, you would be right if it was just the virus, but the Fed had been acting responsibly for years and companies had not been doing all these buybacks and extreme financialization.
Yes, this
then you would be right.
That's exposed that. So, and that's accelerated something that maybe would have happened, like we said, after the elections.
What I'm
but
saying
it wouldn't have been so sudden. There would have been signs.
No, it wouldn't have been so sudden.
Right.
But I'm saying that this recession that I think we're going to go through right now would have happened within the next few years anyways, but instead it's happening now.
Yes, but it wouldn't have happened so suddenly with everything altogether.
But it also is not going to go back up very suddenly.
The Fed was being, I would say, like
irresponsible.
No. But yeah, obviously, but he was being pushed by Trump to lower rates, and then he gave in, and then he lowered rates by 25 basis points, another 25 basis points, and we still had like 1.5 or and then all of a sudden he just slashed the rate so completely. So the Fed would have said, oh, well, inflation is under control, unemployment is all-time low. So all those things are making basically the rates go up, not down. And Trump obviously wanted to prop the economy before the elections, and they were saying, oh, the Fed should be done. Every country is doing it. We need to have stronger currency and all that. And now basically all these things have happened now. So my thing is, what ammunition is the Fed going to have down the road?
Let me give you an analogy that I think will illustrate for a lot of people. It's like the central banks were throwing a big house party, okay? And it was great and it was fun, but house parties can only last so long. By the time you get to 5, 6 a.m., guess what? The sun's coming up, the party's over, okay? And the sun was going to come up at 6 a.m. whether there's nothing the Fed could do about it, okay? And so the sun was going to come up at 6 a.m. anyways. And 6 a.m. was coming within the next couple of years. But what happened, this virus is like the cops showing up at 2:30 a.m. and all of a sudden the party got cut short. So even if the party maybe would have lasted a few more hours and people would have had a fun time for a few more hours, it would have ended anyways. But the cops showed up at 3 a.m. and cut it short. And that's what's happening. The virus is the cops showing up at your door and saying, shut it down. That's my point. So the party is over. And I wish it wasn't.
All right, so
true,
let me ask you.
But it's true.
Well, what do you think? I said that I think the economy.
Was that a good analogy? I thought that was pretty good.
I think mine was better with me being sick and giving me money when the money is not going to take care of my sickness. Like I'm laying down in bed dying and all the money in the world, which is true. I mean,
that's true. But I'm saying, I'm talking about the longer term, because this virus, worst case, let's say it's terrible. Okay, maybe it takes till September to fix. Okay, but we'll get past the virus. My point is there's many other economic things that were under the surface that have been revealed now that are rearing their ugly heads.
But the problem is, the difference is that we've gone through economic crises before. We knew, I mean, this is the longest time we've had between recessions, which is already a record. Okay, we were 10 plus years and people were saying, okay, everybody's announcing, oh, it's coming. Well, it's not coming. Okay, and then people say, okay, it's definitely not going to come to the US before the elections for the reasons that we know. So, but we know it's coming. I mean, there's no market without recessions. You need to have peaks and valleys, but those are known things, and there's instruments and tools in place to fight a recession and deal with it.
But the
problem is that there's no situation in place to fight this pandemic, as is proven. Like people are reacting rather than preventing, and we're still today we're actually seeing what's happening to countries that are behind. Like European countries are reacting now, and we will not know how effective this is probably for another 2 or 3 weeks when they have this. Spain is basically for 2 weeks confined. France is the same thing. England is the same thing. They ban travel between from the US to Europe and from the Europe to the US. I mean, basically all the borders are closed. They're basically shutting down everything, and we're not going to see the effects of this for another 2 weeks. Again, it's going to flatten the curve, but it's not going to happen like tomorrow. Of sudden the cases are down. No, people that are infected today half of the people don't even know it until they're going to show the signs of infection. And then they probably realize, but I didn't know I was infected, but probably I infected 20 other people, which at the same time infected 20 other people. So all that's basically why the social distance is required.
That's what I'm saying. This virus has caused mass uncertainty.
Right.
And has basically, like I said, it's the cops showing up at 3 a.m. instead of the party ending anyways. The party was going to end anyways. It's been 11, 12 years. Okay,
yes,
it was
but
not
by
going
using
to
your
go
analogy,
forever.
I can say, okay, the cop can come and say this and that, and then once they leave, it's like, okay, party's over, but we go back to normal before the party. Okay.
I don't mean it so literally, but I mean it
Okay,
like
well,
I'm trying to give an analogy.
You say it's a good
here.
analogy. Yeah,
But,
I mean, I get pulled over by a cop, and it says, okay, you were speeding, and I didn't get caught for like 10 times. Now this one I got a ticket, whatever.
Yeah, but eventually,
Fine.
guess what?
And
you get
eventually
caught once,
I go back.
you get a ticket. Twice, a ticket. But you get caught 10 times, they're just going to take your license away.
Okay, well, let's just leave the cops alone because they're busy these days.
Okay,
but,
so let me. You talk about the Fed, okay, and everybody's been saying this. It's the Fed is running out of ammo. The Fed is going
I agree.
full Rambo mode, just double wielding machine guns.
Not just the Fed. All the European
everything.
central banks,
every central bank,
Japan, every major central bank.
They're
flooding the
out of
economies
bullets
with money.
The analogy I used the other day was they're like the last guy alive into the trench, out of bullets, and now they're just lobbing grenades, hoping that it stops the enemy. Okay, but they're running out of bullets.
All right, well,
where are we going to go? Negative rates?
Okay, well, that's happened in Europe for a while. But let me ask you. So I think the curing or finding a solution or to control the virus, not to cure it, but to control it and to have the situation under control like we do with many other diseases.
It will stop the mass volatility.
Is the key to the recovery. Not so much the money into the market, and that's why I think the recovery will probably be recovery. Not that we're going to go back overnight to skyrocket or record share or record market or anything or normal economy. I mean, it'll take time because obviously you have a big wound and we're all bleeding now. But I think it'll be faster than if it was a financial crisis. But so what is your time frame to say, okay, let's say this becomes the coronavirus becomes under control globally. Like let's assume that China has it under control with no new cases, Taiwan, Korea, and other stuff. And then let's say that Europe starts getting under control. And then hopefully in the US, we still have the worst to come, really, if you look at the experience. But let's say that we control this, and then by, let's say, July, August, we start seeing things under control.
I think.
When do you think?
So I think the mass volatility we're seeing right now is because of the virus. That's why things are shooting up 10% one day, down 10 the next. That's the volatility. I think that volatility will be dampened once we have a clear path to, okay, this is what it's going to be for the next 8 weeks, but then we'll be out of this. Okay, so that the volatility will be dampened. But that does not mean that the markets will start going back up or that the economy will start going back up, right? They're projecting anywhere from 10 to 20% unemployment because of this. You're going to have lots of businesses go out of business. This is where I don't know what the full fiscal response of the government will be in the United States and around the world of exactly what they're going to do. They start handing out checks. They start giving businesses no interest rate or super low interest loans to keep in business. It's hard to tell right now. Those things will help. But what was building up for years was a sovereign debt crisis, meaning instead of like the previous crisis where you had the banks being in trouble and personal consumers being in debt with mortgages and all that stuff, right now you have a sovereign debt crisis, which means the governments are in debt. And what this is doing, this virus, is causing all the governments who are already in trouble with debt to go way deeper into debt. I mean, even Mnuchin the other day said the deficit is absolutely not a concern right now. And I'm not saying he's wrong. Obviously, the deficit doesn't matter if you don't have a country, okay? But my point is we were already building up this sovereign debt crisis, and this virus has caused every country in the world, every central bank, to now have to double down on their sovereign debt. That is the problem. That is the problem. And that all of the central banks are completely running out of bullets. And that's why I think this is a financial crisis, and that we will not see... I think that by July, August, the volatility due to the virus will go away or be dampened quite a bit, but that we're not going to just see the market start going back up again.
Well, they will go back up. I mean, it's just
Not within the next. I don't think the markets go back up within the next 12 months. Absolutely not.
the next what 12 months.
Yeah. No.
I think that's excessive. I think as soon as the virus is under control, the market will start stabilizing, and then people will be fearing to missing out. I mean, it's the same thing that happened before with the previous recession. The market went down from 16,000 to 8,000. It's like, oh my God, this is the end of the world. And guess what? It was at 30,000 just 10 years later. So that's a big increase.
But that's because
everybody that's sitting on the sidelines.
Was propped up, and that's my point.
Yeah, it's going to happen. The same thing is going to happen now.
No,
I mean, you say unemployment is 20%. Unemployment is 20% temporarily because everybody has to shut down. If I have a restaurant and I had to lay off my 10 employees because I can't even have patrons in my restaurant, fine, but hopefully I can survive shutting down, and then I can rehire everybody back in 3-4 months.
Restaurants are a good example where I think the unemployment will actually be sustained, unfortunately, and here's why. Because there's certain indexes that track restaurants, and we were already at all-time highs for restaurants. There's too many restaurants. Basically, the restaurant business is very volatile. It's very difficult, and there were already
that's another discussion.
Well, there were already too many restaurants. And so now the truth is just a lot of restaurants are going to go out of business. But
and that's fine. That's just basically survival of the fittest.
But I don't think that we're just going to go straight back to having all-time highs of restaurants. So that means that there's going to be a lot of people who work in restaurants right now who may be thinking, okay, I'm going to be screwed for the next 2-3 months because my waitress job or whatever is gone. But guess what? That restaurant's going out of business and it's not coming back. And that's my point. It's not that all of a sudden, if 20% of the country's restaurants just go out of business, it's not that they're all just going to reopen in 3 months.
No, that's just basically.
And so all those people are going to be out of jobs.
Of course, it's supply and demand. It's no different than the small retailer that is being absorbed by the big box back then, and then the big box is now in trouble with Amazon. It's just evolution of the economy, of the ways to buy and the way people live. It's no different than
but
television advertising being down because now everybody's doing streaming. I mean, that's just evolution.
10-20% unemployment will not last, I don't think. But if we go back to 6-7, which I think is very, very possible from when we were below 3 for years, and then we're back at 6-7 and it's not going down, that majorly hurts the economy. And that's what I think is going to happen. I don't think we'll have 20% unemployment. No, temporarily.